once-red city of Petra is situated some 150 miles south of Amman in Transjordan, which is about halfway between the Gulf of Aqaba and the Dead Sea. Our journey to Petra is going to start from Aqaba. We came here by boat from Cairo by way of the Red Sea. Many tourists come here to visit the beach resort city of Eilat to escape the heat of the summer. From Eilat, we hire a jeep to drive us to Petra. We drive some 80 miles north on a paved highway before turning west onto a dirt road leading toward the granite mountains of the Sinai Peninsula. At first, the landscape is quite flat, leveled by flash floods that rush down from the rocky slopes during the short but violent rainy season. Soon we reach the base of the mountains of Edom, and after 2 hours of driving, it is good to get out, stretch, and enjoy the view of the rugged crags, once the home of the Edomites, the descendants of Esau, from whom the mountains get its name. Hey, our Jeep is leaving us. Don't worry, it's all in fun. Our driver will be back. At times, the road seems to just disappear. I asked the driver how did he know where the road was. He didn't. He just followed the tracks made by whoever had been there before. The ancient caravans that once carried trade goods from Egypt to Damascus in the north had to traverse this desert wasteland where water was scarce and shelter from the sandstorms lacking. It was because of this that Petra became a major camel caravan stopover, having a bountiful supply of water, shelter, and most important, protection from bandits. We are following the major trade route for goods moving north and south, known as the King's Highway, a route that passes through Petra. For the protection of the caravans, the Nabateans established fort-like settlements, usually about a day's journey apart. We'll stop and visit the ruins of one such fort, found sheltered by these cliffs. The Nabateans migrated from Arabia into the Edomite kingdom in the 6th century BC, and for a time the two peoples lived side by side. Within a few centuries, however, the Nabateans became the dominant force, many Edomites integrating into the Nabatean society, while others moved into Palestine to occupy the cities vacated by the Judeans when they were carried away into Babylonian captivity. The Nabateans made Petra their fortress capital and were able to withstand several invasions by nations jealous of their power and wealth, accumulated from the taxation of the trade passing through their land. An army sent by Alexander the Great was unsuccessful in capturing Petra, as was an expeditionary force sent by Rome. However, in AD 106, the Nabateans lost their independence and became a Roman province. The ruins we are viewing now were probably built during the Roman period, as evidenced by the use of Roman-style limestone columns decorating the buildings. Water from the settlement came from a spring high up in the mountains that flowed down a channel dug to the town. The size of the town cemetery adjoining the ruins must have been an important settlement. Close by the ruins is a little Arab village that uses the same water supply by conveying the water by means of a modern metal pipe to the village community watering tank to supply man and beast alike. Animal breeding is the main source of livelihood for the present-day Bedouins. They raise goats that provide milk, meat, and skins for their tents, horses and donkeys and camels for transportation. But the camel is by far the most important animal because after it gets this full of water, it can go days at a time with no additional supply. Also, a camel manages to find fodder where seemingly no vegetation exists. Camels are also used for milk on long journeys in the desert, even to substitute for water for the horses. The Bedouin call their country the mother of the camel. Arabian camels have but one hump, and it is called the dromedary, which is the Greek word for camel that runs. The two-humped breed is slow and used only as a beast of burden in Central Asia and the Gobi Desert. A camel can actually go 5 days without water. That is, after it has been filled up, which takes about 20 gallons and a half hour to do so. There are, however, two problems with a camel. They can bite when they have the urge to, and they have a mind of their own. Whoops, there goes one right now, not waiting for his master. Realizing the difficulty of living on this desert without their camels, the Arabs have become tolerant of such independence. The Jordanian army maintains a post of 14 soldiers of its famous camel corps near the village. These men are well trained and hardened to desert life, and they must be able to mount a running camel while holding a gun in one hand. Their camels also are well trained. They can trot at 21 miles an hour, canter at 28, and gallop up to 32. For a whole day's travel, the most desirable speed is a jog trot of about 7 miles per hour. 50 miles in one day is no hard feat. We still have some distance to travel before reaching Petra, our destination. The landscape becomes more mountainous as we penetrate deeper into the mountains of Edom. For over 1,000 years, the Western world did not know where the city of Petra was located. Only a few Bedouin knew, and they considered the city cursed and would not go near it nor talk about it. It was only in 1812, a time when a Western infidel would have been killed on sight, that John Burckhardt, disguised as an Arab and fluent in Arabic language and customs, discovered the long-lost city. He was the first Westerner in over 1,000 years to lay eyes upon the monuments of Petra. As we get closer to Petra, we meet from time to time Arabs coming from somewhere and going to some place, always with their camels or horses. The Bedouin today are very friendly, and their hospitality is legend. Although mostly Muslims, they are tolerant of Christianity. They say we are one in belief that there is but one God, and He is supreme, and we should live together as brothers, a belief not always shared by other Muslims in other parts of the world. We make a short stop at the little Arab village of El-Hai to fill our water cans at the Spring of Moses, so named because tradition has this as the site where Moses struck the rock long centuries ago and water came forth. The inhabitants of the village come here daily, as did their ancestors for centuries, to fill their water bags and now modern Jeep cans left from military activity during the last major war. Their ancestors, of course, used only animal skins and pottery jugs. This spring is the only source of water for the village and for the Arabs that live for miles around in the surrounding desert. From El-Hai, we make preparations to replace our Jeep with horses to continue our way to Petra. The Arabs offer camels or horses, but the wise traveler will choose a horse. It's much easier to ride than a camel. And remember what I said about a camel? They can bite when they feel the urge. Soon we are mounted and on our way. The trail to Petra is probably the same one used by the ancient camel caravans that once brought trade and wealth to the Nabateans. In fact, 4 ancient trade routes converge on Petra. The predominant colors of the mountains of Edom are variations of red, which is the meaning of the name Edom. It was in these red mountains of Edom that the descendants of Esau established the nation that became powerful enough to resist the children of Israel from passing through their land when coming out of Egypt. As we continue toward Petra, we see evidences of the ancient kingdom of Edom, carved stone tombs, cave-like homes that once provided shelter for the ancient inhabitants of Petra. Finally, we come to the first of Petra's major monuments, the obelisk tomb, so named for the obelisk carved in the front. However, this is only the suburbs of Petra, so to speak. We have to continue a little further to get to Petra proper. As we ride on, we see more and more carved tombs and homes in the cliffs, some hidden away in shaded recesses in canyon walls. The path passes by an old Roman dam built to divert floodwaters from washing down the only entrance to Petra, which has happened on several occasions.